Welcome back. Sydney early childhood centres have received calls from worried parents following explosive reports about lack of safety and security checks in the sector. At least 3 nurseries have received up to half a dozen emails from parents demanding their children be cared for by female staff for tasks such as nappy changes, toileting and dressing. It comes after recent abuse charges against male childcare workers across the country. For their take, let's bring in founding director of Western Sydney Women, Amanda Rose, and 7 News reporter Nick McCallum. Morning to you both. Amanda, what do you make of this?
Well, parents have every right to be very concerned and also to know or to pick who they want to look after their children, although it can be unrealistic because of the shortages in childcare. But also, it's interesting that they only wanted them not to do certain tasks, that if there is a predator at the childcare, it doesn't matter what tasks that they're doing, they're still a predator. So I think childcare centres, this is their opportunity to actually say, these are the checks that we're doing, or this is what we have implemented to make sure that your child's safe, and that will give them a competitive advantage, because I don't blame parents for worrying. You know, a lot of parents have been forced to use childcare because you need a 2-income family. But even those that choose, you know, to put their child in childcare regardless, they want to make sure that 100% of the time that their child's safe.
Yeah, Nick, it's such a tricky one, isn't it? It's just so sensitive. But does this not mean that we've got to look at the entire sector, you know, women and men working in our childcare for us to know that our kids are safe?
Oh, absolutely, Mon. Let's put the discrimination against men aside. I agree with Amanda. I totally understand why parents are really, really nervous about this entire situation. But what the appalling charges against Joshua Brown here in Victoria have indicated, there are a number of problems that need to be fixed. Of course, there's the checks and there's the investigations that go on that are then not reported to the entire sector statewide. That has to be fixed. What about CCTV mandated in certain areas of childcare centre, and also rules saying there are certain areas in a childcare centre where one staff member alone cannot be there. You must have at least one other person.
Yeah.
Those are the rules. And simply by blanket banning men in certain areas, to me, that's running away from the problem. It's not actually fixing it.
Yeah, OK, I agree. Moving on now. Treasurer Jim Chalmers says that he's feeling, quote, relaxed about a leak from Treasury which revealed secret advice to the government that we need to raise taxes, and also that Labor's housing target of 1.2 million homes will likely not be met. Amanda, what's your take here?
And he used relaxed more than once. I mean, how insensitive are you, buddy? Oh, I'm feeling relaxed about, you know, the fact that we won't meet budget, we might have to put up taxes and we won't build the houses that we promised.
I think he was talking about being relaxed from having listened to the press conference. He's talking about being relaxed about the leak, I think.
That's right. But what the leak said was the fact that what he's doing, essentially what he wants to do, will require an increase in taxes. The thing is, I don't know a single small business owner that's relaxed right now. I know there are business owners that can't pay back ATO debt and they're not being given the leeway to be able to have payment plans. There's a lot of mental health problems, a lot of suicide attempts. So just even the language, and this is as a leader of our country, as a treasurer, he should be very careful of the language he uses, because even to say, I'm relaxed with the fact that this was leaked, but we're not going to build the houses that we said we would, that's not the language we want. We want him to say, yes, that's what they said, but don't worry, these are the things we have in place. We're still going to look after you. The casual tone and the way he handled it, I think, was an example of how the massive disconnect between our federal government and the everyday person.
Yeah, it's obviously got people worried as well, Nick.
Well, it has, but let's take a step back here. After every election, the new government coming in asks for frank, fair assessments, and often fiery assessments, from the public servants and advisors. So they get this information all the time. I remember speaking to a cabinet minister years ago who said, you would be surprised the number of submissions that come in that actually have outrageous suggestions or brutal suggestions, or on the famous words in Yes Minister of very courageous suggestions. So this is frank and fair advice that comes to the government. It doesn't necessarily take it up. they take those on board. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing to keep in mind as well is this whole target of 1.2 million houses in by 2029. They broke the golden rule. You never overestimate, you always underestimate. Already they're 55,000 behind. They need to improve red tape and better staffing of those areas. Otherwise, it's going to be a disaster.
Yeah, in the middle of a housing shortage and cost of living crisis, not good. All right, thanks very much, Amanda. Nick.